Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review. Going to talk about the 4K edition of the 1990 film, Darkman. Had the 4K for a little while, thought about doing it for Halloween, because it is kind of, almost a monster movie, isn't it? It's a superhero movie mixed with a little Frankenstein. Sam Raimi directed this thing. The screenplay was written by Sam and Ivan and Chuck Farrar, who went on to do a lot of things. Sam Raimi did the original story. Robert Tappert produced it, who's the same guy who produced the Evil Dead movies. And you got a cast like Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand, and Larry Drake. Bill Pope did the cinematography. Danny Elfman did the music. Had a $14 million budget. A lot of it spent on special effects, practical stuff. It went on to make 48.8, was a hit. Had two direct-to-video sequels that didn't have Liam or Sam Raimi involved, and the rest is history. Like I said, I picked up the Steelbook 4K before October, I believe. It was on sale on Amazon. I had wanted it for a while. It's not a movie that I come around to very much. The price is right, and like I said, it's been sitting there for a while. But last night seemed the right thing. The movie's been restored by Shout Factory from its original 35mm negatives, and it looks the best it's ever looked. The biggest thing I noticed when it started was how bright it was. Just very bright. This has always been a dim, grungy-looking movie, and it really wasn't. Liam Neeson is very young. It was his first action movie role. He spends a lot of the time under a massive amount of makeup. Frances McDormand is great in this movie. Larry Drake is great in this movie. And I was more impressed with it than I've ever been this time. I saw this in the theater. I was a Sam Raimi fan at the time. I think watching it now, there's a couple of times, especially one time where he goes a little too far into the Sam Raimi, what I would call the silliness that was added to Evil Dead 2 that wasn't in the original Evil Dead. I think there's a couple times where Liam almost goes too far into the whole mad scientist, evil, good guy kind of thing. But that was the sensibilities of Sam Raimi at the time. I don't think he would put some of those scenes back in the movie. But overall, 99% of the movie, I think, was exactly what it should have been. There was part comic book story, part tragic Frankenstein story, and a big love story. It's right, Frances McDormand signed on. There are some great new extras with this Shout Factory edition. All the extras are on the Blu-ray that comes with it. There are recent interviews with Liam Neeson, which kind of shocked me, with Larry Drake. Well, fairly recent. He died in 2016. And Frances McDormand, who starts talking about stories where she was sharing a house with Sam Raimi and the Coen brothers when they first got a start, when all of them were first getting started. And she's been friends with Sam Raimi ever since, and why she was in this movie and some others. The movie is good. I mean, you got a guy who's trying to perfect fake skin, who gets burned beyond recognition, who uses the fake skin to basically take care of the bad guys who ruined his life. He starts masquerading them as them and doing other things while deciding whether or not to talk to his girlfriend about, because she thinks he's dead, that he died in the explosion of everything that happens. We get a nice establishment in the first 20 minutes of the film of what's going on, the good guys, the bad guys. We see the bad guy in a separate thing. The credits come on, which are absolutely beautiful in 4K because there's kind of like a blue background with a bright red glow around the letters. It just really pops. And then you get into the movie proper, and we see a lot of their relationship and what's going on. He asks her to marry him, and then that night, he's tragically killed. So she's crushed, and things happen, and, well, you'll see the rest of the movie. It's not very long. It's a little over 90 minutes, 93, 94 minutes, something like that. I really enjoyed it. I thought the 4K was great. There's a couple of optical effects that don't look great because they wouldn't have looked great no matter how they did it, but like all the practical stuff and the close-ups, there were a few close-ups that were breathtaking. There is grain over this movie, but it was filmed on grainy film stock, so they didn't wipe anything away, and there's some serious details, especially in the close-ups of like Liam Neeson and stuff. And when he gets into the makeup, the close-ups are just, well, they're kind of gruesome. I think the deaths are really good. I think the whole movie plays really well on the whole. He's got a time frame. His skin will disintegrate. That's why he hasn't been able to perfect this fake skin. It will not last past 99 minutes. So that gives him a length of time and a ticking clock every time he goes to do something against the bad guys. part superhero film, part Frankenstein film, big romantic film. And by the end of it, it's a solid flick, all in all. Great performances, great direction from Sam Raimi. A couple of times it goes too far into that comic book realm, but this is a movie from 1990 before we were really doing good comic book movies. And it was an original idea from him, not based on a comic book anyway. It's a dark comic tale with an early Liam Neeson and an early Frances McDormand doing really good stuff in it. Larry Drake is great. You got some good extras. Nice 4K with a lossless 5.1. We didn't get an Atmos upgrade, but the lossless 5.1 was really nice. It was a good soundtrack. It was bombastic when it needed to be. The explosions had nice depth. Still sounds like a 1990s movie, but it looked and sounded better than I expected. The steelbook is a really cool design. All in all, Shout Factory really knocked this out of the park. So if Darkman is one of your favorite movies, then definitely pick it up. It is a huge upgrade over the old Universal Blu-ray from the extras and the video and the picture. If you're not a fan, well, this Sam Raimi is a particular cup of tea for some people. I tend to like most of his movies, even when he goes a little over the top. And after this, he kind of toned things down further and further until he got back to Drag Me to Hell. He made movies like The Gift, and if you haven't seen that, that's a really good flick that you wouldn't even know was a Sam Raimi movie. But Darkman is available now from Shout Factory. It's got a really cool steelbook, and the 4K is worth picking up if you love the movie. I did. I'm Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts are on the way. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.